Hey students, this video is going to show you how to format your paper in MLA style on the online version of Microsoft Word. So if you're using what's called Microsoft 365, if you don't know the difference, right, Microsoft Word, if you're signing on to your student account and everything is online, you're likely using, I guarantee you're using Microsoft 365, and that's what this video is about. If you're opening up Microsoft Word on your computer, not using a web browser, then you're using the offline version of Microsoft Word, and if you're doing that, you'll need to go look at the other video. With Microsoft 365, the online version, the steps to making your paper MLA style are pretty much the same, but there's a couple of issues that I've discovered. So that's why I was going to make a fourth video, an extra video on how to do your paper online. But yeah, if you're not using the online version, then you don't need this video. But yeah, I do like Microsoft Word online because it saves your paper as you write, and that's a great thing. Because then you can't ever lose it if your computer crashes. But anyways, let me show you the steps, step by step, on how to format your paper in MLA style. So we're gonna, you know, when you get into here, you have to sign in and everything. You're gonna click on Go to Word. Then it's gonna open up some stuff. Sometimes this kind of confuses me, but once you get the hang of it, you'll figure it out. But yeah, you're gonna want to create new blank document. So it opens up a new page. You'll be able to rename it what you want later. But as you notice, right, it starts with the wrong font, as Microsoft Word loves to do. And we're going to format this whole thing from scratch. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is to change the font. This will save you time. You don't want to start typing and then change the font later. So we're going to change it to Times New Roman. Also, don't forget to change it to 12-point font. Okay. Before you start typing anything, you want to go ahead and make sure that the whole paper is double spaced as well, right? In MLA style, it needs to be Times New Roman 12-point font, and your entire essay needs to be no more and no less than double spaced. So we are going to go to the line spacing options over here on the right, and we're going to click on 2. Now, that makes everything double spaced, but Microsoft Word has, for whatever reason, the default setting is to add a little bit of extra space at the after a paragraph. So what I'm saying is, whenever you type something in and you hit enter, there's going to be an extra space in between the things. So if you don't change this, the space between the lines will be right, but the space between your paragraphs will be off. It'll also mess up your heading. So we're going to go back to line spacing, and we're going to go to line spacing options. And you want to make sure that the before and after both say 0. Okay, that's what you're looking for. So you're going to hit OK when they both say 0, and now you're ready to start typing your heading. So I'm going to type in my name, right? And notice how I'm not working in the header yet. You want your heading to only be on the first page, and you want it to start on the first line of the essay. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my first and last name. Then you need to type in your professor's name. MLA style wants that. And then you need to type in your course name and section number. So if you're in English 1301, I'll do my section in Leveland. So it's usually called English 1301 003. You have to do it in this format. Now you can spell out English and then do a space and do 1301. You can do ENGL 1301. They can be capitalized. As far as I know, I don't think this matters at all. I just usually put ENGL 1301. You can also do a dot or you can do a dash. I don't think that matters either. Of course, always check with your instructor, but we'll go with this English 1301. Okay, and then we're going to you need to type in the date. Now, it's not just typing in the date in any old way, though. You have to do it this way, in this format. MLA style wants up to 2 digits for the day, then a space, then spell out the month, and then another space, and then give the year with 4 digits, okay? So it would be incorrect to do something like, so today's February 2nd, it'd be incorrect to do 2024, right? Because that's not what we're looking for. You want 2 digits for the day, excuse me, up to 2 digits, by the way. So like if it was 12 February, I'd do 1, 2. You don't have, it's today's February 2nd. Now, you don't have to put a 0 if you don't want to, but I don't think it would be wrong if you did. But you can just put a single digit for the day if you want. But you have to spell out the month for some reason with MLA formatting, and you have to put 4 digits for the year. Okay, so it has to be like this or you'll get points taken off. Don't format the date any other way. Okay, it's important. It's what MLA is asking for. Okay, so but notice, okay, you don't want your essay to be any more or less than double space. So I'm not going to hit enter twice. I'm just going to hit enter once when I am done with my heading. And that's going to bring me to the line where my title should be. So in this step, I need to go to alignment and hit align center because your title needs to be centered. One of our essays is a descriptive essay about your favorite food. So I'm going to come up with a very uncreative title. My favorite food is barbecue. Okay. Now you need to just hit enter once. It's the same as here. You're not going to hit enter twice. You're just going to hit enter once. And then you're going to start typing your essay. However, make sure that you bring this back to the left. If you start typing right after you're done with your title, everything's going to be centered, and that's a mistake. You don't want anything to be centered except for your title. So in 365, in Microsoft Word, the offline version, you can just hit backspace, but I don't think you can do that on the online version. So you have to go back to alignment and hit align left. Okay. Now, before you start typing, you want to hit the tab key to indent the first line of each paragraph, right? So you're gonna type your essay, right? And as you're going, you're going to be writing all the amazing sentences, right? You want the first line of every paragraph to be indented like that. Do you see that with I think it's about a 1/2 inch indent. But what you don't want to do right here is hit the space bar. Don't do that. Hit the tab key once, and that's all you need, and that'll give you enough space. That'll give you the proper indentation for that first line. We only want the first line of each paragraph to be indented, okay? But right now, I'm almost completely done with MLA formatting. The only thing I'm missing is that my last name and page number at the top right. Okay? MLA formatting wants your last name and page number at the top right of every essay, the top right of every page. Now, a lot of students, not a lot, but some students every semester try to insert this manually, and this is a mistake. Even if you get it to go where you should, right? Some people type in their name and hit tab until it's there, but I can tell if your last name and page number is on the same line as your heading, okay? And so I'll count points off. Your last name and page number need to go in the header, all right? I think usually in the offline version you just double click up here, but that doesn't work in Microsoft 365. So to get into the header in the online version, you just click on this little tab here that says header. But this is where it gets really crazy, okay? Now, I need to show you a couple things. One is that if you type in your last name and the page number manually, it's not going to work well, okay? Another thing I want to tell you is that you notice how I typed in my last name and the page number, and then when I click out, I don't see it. So a lot of students get worried because they think something's going wrong here. For whatever reason, that's just how they want it to happen. I don't know. That's how the online version is made. So just know that when you type something in here, it's there, but whenever you're working on it, you won't be able to see it. It's not until you print it or you submit it that it will actually show up. Watch this. So I hit print, and see there, it shows that it's actually there. Okay, but if you notice whenever I just started typing again, it's got it in the wrong font. So I need to do a couple things. But one thing I want to show you is that you need to insert your page number. Okay, because watch this. You need to do a special thing, and you need to insert your page number. Whenever I just typed my name and 1 right here, the problem is that whatever you type into the header, it's going to show up on every page. So if I type in Celts 1, when I go to the second page, it doesn't say Celts 2, it says Celts 1. Okay, and you don't want that to happen. And what some students do is they go, oh, well, this needs to say 2, so I'll go to the second page and I'll just type in 2. Well, the problem with that is that now every single page is now going to say Celts 2. So all it's going to do is frustrate you. It'll never work. You can't manually insert the number. Okay, so let me just start over with this. So what you want to do, the proper way to insert your last name and page number is go to header. I don't think it matters if you click into this box or if you stayed over here. But I've had some students who have somehow inserted their name outside of this thing. Honestly, I don't know how that worked. But definitely don't have the pointer down here. Do y'all see that? Make sure you have the pointer in the boxes somehow, okay? You want it in this little table. But I don't think you have to put it over here, but you could. But you have the pointer there, and you're going to want to go to Insert, and you want to go to Page Number, okay? Now, your last name, page number need to be at the top right, so you choose the one that has the number at the top right. And yeah, see, I had my pointer over here, and when I inserted it over here, so it doesn't matter where your pointer is, all right? So now, don't worry about this. That's what it needs to look like. It needs to be the less than, pound, and greater than sign. And you're not going to type in any numbers or anything like that. When you do that, that's inserting the page number when you hit print, okay? So once you hit that insert page number, now go ahead and type in your last name and hit spacebar once. You just want one space in between your last name and the page number. Okay, I want to show you. So now, whenever I hit print, it is going to show, the page number, the correct page number on every page. See how that works? Now it says Celts 2 on the second page. It says Celts 1 on the first page. So we're good. Except if you notice, my last name and page number are not in Times New Roman. So that's an issue. So we need to highlight the whole thing, and we need to select Times New Roman. Okay, 12 point, right? You want Times New Roman 12 point. I'm not sure why that didn't show up. Okay. Now, here's the issue, though, and this is some weird thing with the online version of Microsoft Word. So whenever I click out, since I just changed the font, you'd assume that it would be the correct font, right? And it actually will be. My last name is in Times New Roman now. You see that? However, if you notice, maybe you can kind of notice the way this 2 looks, or the way this 1 looks, and the way that 1 looks. That's not in Times New Roman, even though I just changed the page number to Times New Roman. Okay, that's the weird thing about Microsoft Word online. But I have come up with, I don't remember how I figured this out, because I couldn't find the answer online. But I did come up with like a 3-step process to fixing this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the only way I've learned how to fix it is just to keep trying until it works. But to actually make the page number Times New Roman font, there's like a 3-step process. So, okay, first you go into your header and you highlight your last name and page number, okay? Then you right-click on what you highlighted. You click on Styles, and then scroll down here to Create New Style from Selection, and click on that. You can name your new style whatever you want, but style 1 is fine with me. I'm just going to go with style 1. Just remember that. Or you could change it to MLA, but whatever you want. So, or change it to Times New Roman, but I'm just going to go with style 1. Okay, just remember that style 1 is the new style we created. So I hit OK. Now this is where it gets weird, and I don't know how this works, but I'm going to go back and highlight my last name and page number. I'm going to right-click on what I selected. I'm going to click on Styles, and then I'm going to click on Normal Style. And you're probably thinking, well, what does that do? I mean, you just changed it back to normal. Well, I don't know what this does, but if it works correctly, it magically changes it when we change it back. Okay, so you changed it to normal. Maybe it lined to the left. That's fine. But we're going to highlight it one more time, and we're going to right-click. We're going to go back to Styles, and then we're going to select the style that we created that's in Times New Roman 12-point font. So I'm going to click on Style 1. Sometimes this does this to me. I don't know how that works. Sometimes it changes it so that it's aligned to the left. If it does that, you can just go back to Home and hit Align to the right. You want to do that. But then hopefully this will work. Let's see. So now I did all those 3 steps, and then okay, it's not working. And I'm almost glad, for this video I was hoping it'd be shorter. I'm almost glad it did that, so I can just show you. Sometimes maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. The way I've maybe this will work. I think sometimes if you select the entire, make the entire field highlighted, maybe this works better. I'm not sure how it works. It all seems magical to me. But if you hold down, your mouse button and you select and you keep dragging to the right, it'll eventually highlight the whole thing. Let's see if this is what's wrong with it. So I've got it in Times New Roman, right? So that's what we want. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to click on Style. I'm going to create new style from selection again. So it's going to be Style 2. I'm going to hit OK. See, it shouldn't do that. One second. Let me try this again. I know this probably all seems crazy, but I honestly don't know how all this works. But this is just what happens sometimes. A lot of times whenever I do all this, it just works the first time. Okay, I just created a style at style 3. Now I'm going to highlight it again. I'm going to go to Style. I'm going to hit Normal. And then I'm going to highlight it again. I'm going to hit Style, and I'm going to go to Style 3 that I saved. And a lot of times when it goes back like that, it's what we wanted. So let me click out of that. I'm going to hit File. I'm going to hit Print. There we are. I don't know why it does that, but I would keep selecting it, saving it as a new style, and then going back to normal and back to the style you saved until it works. If you can't get it to work, sit down with me and we'll figure it out in class, okay? But anyways, now I've made it correct. If it's not the correct number, whenever I grade your papers, I'll be or if you're in any other class, your instructor will keep saying, hey, your page number is not in Times New Roman. And a lot of instructors just tell you to download the offline version because they don't know how to fix it. I just got lucky and figured out how to fix it by chance. So, but that's how to fix it. So then you can go and write every single paper on Microsoft Word online, and you don't have to worry about using the offline version and it crashing on you. But anyways, that's how you fix the page number. Then we've got one last thing to do. In fact, maybe you already see it. Look at this. I hit the tab key, and whenever I'm this is the second problem I've noticed with the online version. This is the only other difference between the online and offline version that I've seen that's a big deal. I hit the tab key and I've indented the first line of each of these paragraphs, but whenever I print, the tab is gone. I don't understand how that works, But sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm actually pretty lucky that it happened whenever I was making this video. But if y'all noticed, I did hit the tab key. There's a regular 1/2 inch indent, and that's what I need. But whenever I go to submit it, or if I go to print it, all of a sudden there is no indentation, and you'll get points taken off for that. Your instructor will keep saying, hey, you need to indent the first line of each paragraph, and you'll be frustrated because you'll say, I did, but it's not showing up. Well, there's a way to fix that too. I figured this out somehow. So what you want to do is get rid of the tab. I don't know if this matters or not, but I think it does, because if you don't get rid of the tab, you'll have 2 spaces. But get rid of your tab and then right click where the pointer is and go to paragraph options, and then come here to the special field and click on first line, and then hit OK. I think it also matters that says 1/2 inch. You don't want it to be any more or less than that, but that's a regular 1/2 inch spacing. And whenever you do that, it automatically tabs for you. Notice how I don't even have a space in between here like I used to. And also, whenever you go to hit enter after that, every time you hit enter, it'll go ahead and insert a tab for you. And this is the way to fix that problem. Now watch this. Whenever I hit print, it will show the tabs. So there you go. So this is a fully MLA style formatted paper. It's the same thing as doing it in the offline version. You just have to take those 2 extra steps if you're having issues. If your page number won't change to Times New Roman, you have to do my crazy 3-step process over and over till it works. And if your tabs aren't showing up at the first line, you have to go and insert it yourself. Okay? But once you have this saved like this, I highly recommend, right? You'll write your first essay, but for the rest of your college career, just remember this. Whenever you're ready to write a new essay, you can just hit File and hit Save As. Okay, so right, I can save this as something like descriptive essay or essay number 1, right? So whenever I change the name, this is always going to be called that. All right, so I would type out my whole essay and I'd turn it in, right? Well, so you're going to have an entire essay down here. But when you're ready to write your second essay, instead of going through all this trouble all over again, just hit File and hit Save As, and then you're going to click on Save As. It says Save a Copy Online, right? So you hit Save As, and then you name the new one that you're saving to whatever new essay you're writing. So if you're going to write the narrative essay, you type in narrative essay and you hit save. You also tell it where to save. And then did you see how it kind of went to a different screen? That's because this is a different essay from what I just worked on. So what I'd want to do then is I would just need to it basically made a copy. If I go back to Word, let's see if it'll show y'all. Yeah, do you see how I have these 2 files now? I'll have these 2 files. I've got descriptive essay and narrative essay file. So whenever I hit save copy, it made a new file and I named it narrative essay. So this is now a different file. So now I can click into narrative essay and I can type in narrative essay and change it all I want, and it doesn't modify the descriptive essay file. So what I did was I just made a copy, and it's going to be formatted just right? If you did it right the first time, all you need to do is make that new file, change the title, change the date probably, and then just delete everything you wrote and start over, right? So that way you don't have to do your formatting over and over again. Just remember that if you're doing it for a different class, to remember to change the date and change the course, and obviously change your professor's name. But you'll never have to go back and redo the header again. You'll never have to type in your name again. Make sure you spell it right the first time, right? You just need to change the professor's name, change the course, change the date, and change the title, and then you can type essays all day long. And then the next time you're ready to write a new essay, you hit File and Save As, and it makes another copy, and you just keep going and going like that. All right? Well, anyways, I hope this video is helpful, and let me know if y'all have any questions. Hope you have a great day.